So this is the January 24th, 2022 Westwood Recreation Commission meeting. Ann Delaney chair, and the meeting is recorded. Will it be played back? Where do we find it, Rich?
It'll be posted on the Westwood Media Center website.
Okay, so it's posted on the Westwood Media Center. Okay, right. Great. And the time is 7:02 when we're calling the meeting to order. And the first agenda item is public comment, and I don't see any members of the public on.
There are none.
So we'll move to the consent agenda, and I'll ask if anyone has an item they want to add or remove from the consent agenda. And hearing nothing, then I'll be looking for someone to make a movement to approve the minutes from December 20th, 2021. Someone want to make a motion to approve those?
I will.
Katie, thank you. And anyone want to second it?
I'll second it.
Sheila will second. And so, Elizabeth, are you in favor of approving the minutes? You're muted.
Yes, I am.
Thank you. And Paul, are you in favor?
Yes, I'm in favor.
And I am in favor. So the minutes are approved. And the next item.
Technically, Ann, you do need to ask Katie and Sheila, even though they
Oh, Katie, do you approve?
Yes.
And Sheila, do you approve?
Yes.
Okay. And no one, that's everyone. So no one has not approved or consented, I guess. And so the consent agenda is now approved. So monthly reports. What page is that on? With the agenda?
4.
4. Okay. So what are the highlights, Rich?
Well, perhaps the biggest one, I don't know if any of you got a chance to go to the fireworks. I didn't.
They were great.
I was quarantined, but I did hear that. Here, hold on. I'm just going to let Sue in. I heard from everybody that, and we got several emails from residents saying how good it was and what have you. So that was nice to see that we were able to pull that off, and we didn't lose that to COVID this year, which was nice.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, there were lots of people. It was a beautiful night too. Sometimes
Right.
if it's too cold, I'm not going to walk over there. But lots of families I saw there. I saw some dogs. I thought, wow, those brave dogs. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that was probably the highlight of the month. Obviously, this time of year is pretty slow for us in terms of in December, many of the programs that we have in the fall, it's the end of the season and they've concluded at that point. Probably the biggest thing that we have going on is the swim teams at the pool, and the pool is quite active this time of year. I'm not going to get too much into that because Sue and Holly are going to give an update for us there. But of course, like I said, the big event was the fireworks, which was great, and it was such a nice night. And I was very sad that I almost went up and just stayed in my car.
You really, I mean, there was plenty of space. Like I stood on Manhattan Street. You could have stood on Manhattan Street, near no one, and got a beautiful view.
Right. I just because I was technically supposed to quarantine, I didn't do it, but I wanted to be there so bad. But anyway, that I wasn't able to do that. So so yeah, that's probably the highlight. Everything else we're going to talk about, I have on the agenda, so I won't spoil it. The key things are we're going to get into a little bit more detail, with the exception of the fireworks. That was the highlight.
Okay.
So,
Before we go any further, can we get the minutes approved or no?
Didn't we just do that? Oh, no, sorry.
We did consent to the agenda. We haven't gotten the minutes.
We did the consent agenda. You're right. The minutes. All right. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Someone want to second it? Thank you, Sheila. Mitch will second it. And then, hi, Mitch. Sheila, do you approve?
Yep.
And I approve. Elizabeth, do you approve of the minutes?
Yes.
And Paul, do you approve? You're muted.
I
Yes,
do,
I see you.
yes.
Yeah. And Mitch, do you approve?
Yes, I approve.
All right, sorry. Thank you for keeping us honest, Sheila.
problem.
So the minutes are approved. I started with the consent agenda, and I think at the end I said the minutes were approved, and I blended them together. So
Yeah, that threw me for a loop too.
yeah, it's always something with me. So commission member reports, and I see the nets at the high school baseball field are on here. Is this, Rich, for you to talk about research, or Paul?
Well, it's Paul's item, so I'll let
yeah.
him start and then I can give an update of where I am with that.
Okay.
Sure.
ahead,
So I'm looking for, so as everybody knows from the commission, I've been trying to get this either, I don't know if we've closed this out. I thought we were supposed to be getting pricing, whether we're going to move on and move off. And I think the last that we left it at was looking at putting some nets up at the field near the tennis courts. I think that that I thought personally were probably the most challenging and more dangerous. And Mitch, I know you had a meeting with Mr. Gillis, and that meeting went okay, and there was supposed to be some discussions, and you were going to follow up with the vendor, and then the vendor didn't call you back, and then
Yep.
you tried them again, and they still didn't call you back. So
Yep.
trying to find out what, I want to find out what the status of that is and what
Yeah, sure
our
thing.
what our
So-
next steps are.
Yes, so that got put on the back burner for quite a long time, but I have revived it. I was speaking to someone today actually about it, and they're going to, I have a bunch of catalogs for various products and whatnot, one of which is sports netting and that. And so I reached out to them last week. They called me back this morning. I talked them through the project and the scope of the project. They've assigned one of their national salesmen to me, and they will be back to me within the next week so that we can
Great.
get even more detailed. So I'm hoping by the time we meet next time, at a very minimum, I'll have a scope defined and we'll maybe even have pricing. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent.
May I interject for a second? Are we talking strictly with the high school and the tennis courts, or Thurston and that parking lot area?
Well, the only thing that I've talked to them about was the high school at first, and again, we can address any number of these fields. The big question is going to be, once we get pricing, and it's not going to be inexpensive, who's going to take up this project and who's going to fund it, right? And we'll have to decide that. I talked to, as you mentioned, Paul, probably at this point a year ago when we first started talking about this. I did speak to Matt, and he has zero objection to doing it, but there was no discussion as to who was going to do it and who was going to pay for it. So all of that will need to be discussed. Is that something that we want to take up as the rec commission, or is that something that someone else wants to take up?
So, and again, just from my standpoint, in reading what, the role of the commission members are, all of us who are on this call right now, our role is to make suggestions and determine what things we want to have looked at. And so one of the things that we have to do is get past this budget thing and figure it out. I guess the first thing we have to do is find out what the cost is, like you said. I think, Mitch, you're right. Let's take a look at the Thurston. That's where Sharon my wife got hit, right?
Mhm.
Let's take a look at the high school where I've seen, balls fly out of there. So in any event, so let's take it, if there's any objection to this, Rich, I'd like to be at any of those meetings that you have. I'm flexible enough that I can even sit in on that. So I'd like to be part of that.
Okay. I'll arrange that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul and Rich. Okay, so director staff report, iSTEAM update is the first item on here.
Yeah, so you may recall a few months ago, I mentioned to you a new type of program that we are offering, where we got a grant to fund the expenses of the program, to offer basically a social interaction skills program for neurodiverse children to interact and learn how to interact with their neurotypical peers in the setting of Lego. And it's something that we've been working on now for almost a year through the grant application process, the curriculum development, and through to implementation. So I just wanted to report back to you that we had our training on January 5th, which was terrific. All of the full-time staff were there. The non-aquatic staff were there to learn a lot more about working with neurodiverse children, and more specifically about this program as well. And then we had our first class on January 12th, and then we've had our second class the week after. This Wednesday will be our third. It's a 6-week class. And the first 2 classes have gone terrific. It really was really eye-opening to watch the kids come together, and many of the skills that the behavioral therapists and the BCBAs, which stands for Board Certified Behavioral Analyst, and the techniques that they are bringing to bear for this class was really, really interesting, very enlightening. And the class has been so far very successful. Of course, we got 4 more to go. And then there's a whole bunch of work that needs to do after the fact. They're taking a lot of data to see how the interactions are happening. They have this relatively simple, but at the same time, somewhat complex way of analyzing how the behaviors, classifying certain behaviors in certain ways to see if they're able to, from the first class to the last class, if they've been able to get them to achieve certain behavioral goals and interactions and whatnot, so that they can better interact with each other. And so there'll be a lot of work after that. So more to come, but so far so good. It's been going quite well.
Spring, summer program planning updates.
Yeah, sure. So just a quick note, we are, I would say, about 95% complete with the spring and summer program planning. Of course, as you know, this is the big brochure where we put 2 seasons into one. And it's a tremendous amount of work that goes into creating both seasons of programming and then getting it all into the brochure. The first draft was completed on Friday, and we've been making some edits today, and that'll continue into tomorrow and Wednesday. And the goal being the second draft done by the end of day Wednesday or Thursday. And I'm hoping to have this to the printer Friday, if not the very beginning of next week, which will put it in the mailboxes well within before the February vacation and any of the programming openings, which February 25th is for spring and March 12th is for summer. So we're looking good.
Any exciting new programs on there?
Well, I can show you what the cover is going to look like. I think if I can get that on there.
Yeah, it's the virtual background. It's tough. Bunch of kids with their arms around each other.
Yeah, there's a bunch of counselors from last year.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Oh, Sue. Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. That's good. Thank you, Sue. So I don't have any on the top of my head that are
Okay.
new and exciting, but we have plenty of exciting ones.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
I just don't know if they're new or not. We have a few new science classes that are a little bit different. We do we use Wicked Cool quite a bit, and that's the name of the company, and Top Secret Science. And you know, they mix it up. We offer them every year, but they always put a different twist on it, which is kind of neat. You know, of course, we're going to have Safety Town, which is I don't know how much, Sue, how many years have we been offering that? You know, like 40 or something. So,
You're muted, Sue.
Can't hear you.
It's got to be, yeah, close to 40, because my
Wow.
son went 30 some odd years ago.
hilarious. It's
You
so
don't have a
awesome.
son that old. We did not hear a thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
so yeah, so I'm very happy with the progress of where we are with that, and I want to make sure that it gets into everybody's home before registration starts on the, you know, long before, not like the day before, but long before, and we're well on track to do that, which is good.
Yeah, considering.
Well, it was a tough month with everybody coming down with COVID, you know.
Yeah.
We lost productivity, so
Well, once someone in the office gets it, it's got to be hard.
yeah, well, it's a small office, so
Mm-hmm.
but we're doing good. So
I think a couple of new ones that I think are fun personally are like some of the art programs. There's some outdoor drawing programs, sculpting, make your own monster, nature inspired art. So those are, I think, I'm going to catch people's eyes. Yeah.
Excellent.
Awesome.
yeah, and Elizabeth, we got the tennis league in there, and we upped the number to 20 like you asked.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
and we have a commitment from Phil to come back for teaching lessons this summer as well.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, so which is terrific that we know this early. So we'll have it very well organized right out of the gate. Whereas last year we got a little bit of a late start. It took us a bit to get the ball rolling, and finally did very well. So we'll be able to hit the ground
Oh,
running.
good.
With that, which is terrific. And so we're going to have, you know, private lessons in the spring and all summer. So
Nice.
yeah, that'll be good. So
Katie,
Good
did
stuff.
you have your hand up?
I just wanted to say that it's so helpful from like a parent standpoint with having young kids. Like me and my friends are already talking about like the camps that we're booking for kids, and it's crazy to think that it's January and we're already planning our summers as to like
Yes.
when kids are going to camp and if we're going on vacation, and it's just really helpful to have those dates and those things available soon. So I'm going to speak for my friends. I really appreciate the booklet coming out in advance so early. So that's really awesome.
yeah.
When the electronic, like when you finalize it, do you ever post the electronic one right on the website? And like,
We do.
maybe you can put it out on like the Instagram page that it's posted already.
We do. So I would encourage you, for anybody that you talk to, and we put this on our website, and we have pages within the brochure asking people to follow us on social media, and we get emails and calls all the time. And every time we do, I encourage people to follow us on the social media, because once the brochure is ready and goes to the printer, we have an electronic version of that, and we post it to the website. Okay, so it'll be available online probably about 10 days before it hits people's mailboxes. Okay, and we will post that on social media. So the more people that follow us on social media should be able to see that. So every chance we get, we try to encourage people to do that, so that they can have, you know, advanced viewing or an electronic viewing of that brochure, right? And the other thing is too, is the online version, from time to time we'll add something, or there may need to be a correction for whatever reason, and we have the ability to update the online version as, you know, as it occurs. Whereas once we send the thing to the printer, it's, you know, it's a static copy and whatnot. So the best place, honestly, to view it is online, because it's the most up-to-date version, and you'll have about a 10-day head start to the printed version.
Yeah, because sometimes new sessions will open up and stuff.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. So March into summer.
Yeah, so just a quick update there. We're not going to do an open house again this year with Omicron. And if for any of you that have been there in the past, especially with the open pool, it gets quite crowded. And our feeling was that it just was not a good idea to do that. Of course, we're going to have the registration, which is the big thing, is to have the registration online, have it open up that day. And, when March into Summer and the open house associated with that was started, all the registrations were in paper. And so everybody came in and it was like this big thing. Now, like 98 or 99% of the registrations are on electronic, online, right? So it's a little bit of a different environment now because everybody registers online. So
What's the date for March into Summer, Rich?
the 12th,
12th.
Saturday, the
Thank you.
12th. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So I just wanted to put that out there that the registration with the 10% discount will be still happening on the 12th, but there won't be the open house like we've done pre-COVID.
So Katie and your friends will be right on the first ones online on the 12th.
At 12:01.
I'm on computer, my husband on another one.
Yeah.
Oh, no, my dear.
That's awesome.
Okay. Oh, go ahead, Paul.
No, I said that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is. Hey, I'll be on there for pickleball.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
tell you, we've been adding a lot of classes. It's very popular. It's grown for the first time we offered it, we could barely fill 2. And now I think we have 3 or 4 sessions going, and everybody people are calling saying, how do I get into the next one? It's like, well, February 25th, like you got to sign up. Or that's for the spring, and then for the summer it would be the 12th. So
Okay, pool operations, Sue and Holly.
All right. Hi, everybody. So I'm just going to kind of go through our bullet points and maybe go a little bit more in detail for some of the stuff, but I've officially been here 2 months, in my 3rd now. So that's exciting for all of us. And in
she's
that
doing a
time,
great job.
thank you. I've been trying to.
Yeah, where's the little clap function here?
Is that a
Somewhere.
thing?
It is a thing, but my work might have turned it off. So
That's
anyway.
so funny. And in that, I've still attended the MRPA board meetings. I serve as the aquatics representative for the Mass Parks and Rec Association. So I'm still involved with those meetings. I completed my certified pool operator course in December. So that now
Nice.
makes number 3 on staff. Sue has hers, and Brian, the assistant aquatics manager, also has his. So there are 3 of us on staff, which is great. We've continued to maintain our ever revolving contracts with underwater rugby, underwater hockey, the Walpole Recreation swim team, and also the Westwood High School swim and dive team. Our private lessons are in high demand right now, just under 30. Last month, we were able to complete our fall 2 session wrapped up. We had just under 50 kids in there. Our lap swim is going very well. I think all of the patrons love the reservation system that we have going on. So from 6:10 to 2:10, Monday through Friday, they can reserve a lane. At most, there's only 2 people in a lane, which is great. And we had 965 people check in for lap swim during the month of December. So that's a
Wow.
lot. Yeah. So it's a very
Wow.
active pool during those 6:10 to 2:10 times. We've had evaluations, which are great, whether they're going into private lessons or into group lessons. So it's great if parents don't know, we're available to come in and do a quick swim eval. So they're signing up for the correct level and not guessing, which is great. The winter recreation swim team is in full swing, and Sue has been extremely involved in that, so she can speak more to that. But I believe we have ages 6 to 18 on the team, and I think there's 184 swimmers. Sue, correct me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
Yep, that's great. They've held 2 virtual meets. One was actually in person, I believe, the first one, correct, Sue? You had an
Yes,
in-person meet?
yeah.
Yeah. So one was in person and one was virtual, and they've gone very well from what I understand. They've started to order swim team gear, and she can speak more on that. Bathing suits, caps. I've seen goggles come through, personalized swim caps, jackets, sweatshirts, some very cool gear is coming in. The Westwood High School also has had their first meet since December. We've had a few more, but they had their first home meet. We were actually able to train one of the coaches' husbands to run the computer timing system, which has gone very well. And he's since done that on his own with minimal help from us, which is great that they had a volunteer step up to do that for them. I was able to hire another part-time lifeguard to help us out with some of the weekend coverage with those rentals for Walpole. Sue can talk about it, but she hosted an aqua fitness holiday party, which was great. She can talk a little bit more about that if she wants quickly. I know there was about 20 people there, if I'm correct. Yeah, and you can.
Yes, very important, that socialization. Yes, yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, it was, they were very festive, and everybody brought little baked goods. It was a really good time. And then let's see. Yeah, they're so fun. We held a lifeguard recertification course. We had a lot of guards on staff that were up in December that needed to continue to get recertified to continue to work for us. So we were able to do that before they all expired. The assistant manager, Brian, he actually signed up for, well, he's since completed it, but he signed up for his lifeguard instructor course, and he actually completed it a few weekends ago. So it's great. So myself, him and Sue are all lifeguard instructor certified now, which is great for recertifications and offering new lifeguard courses. Our winter registrations are very strong. Like I said, we ended fall 2 with just under 50, and we're about 73 right now for winter registration. So we've increased. So given everything going on, people still want swim lessons, which is great. Just some kind of pool, which I know it's touched upon a little bit later in facility updates. Sue and Rich actually did a walkthrough on the pool deck tile replacement, and I know they'll speak to that more about that later. We actually ordered some 2 new lifeguard chairs that hopefully will come next week, so we can get some of the guards out of the plastic chairs that you see on the pool deck into actually lifeguard chairs that don't break. Yeah, so that's very exciting that those are coming in, and we can build those and have nice stands on deck for everybody to see. We're working on the sump pump quotes for repair or possible replacement, just trying to keep everything up to date and functioning. Working on getting a new chlorinator for the pool. It's seen its time, it's old, and we're just, it's functioning, but we want to be proactive and see what else is out there just to keep ourselves up to date and, be as cost effective possible for us to continue to run the pool. And really just keeping everything routine and monitored. And if I missed anything, Sue, please jump in.
No, that was a great summarization of what's going on. Yeah.
We're very busy.
Absolutely.
Very busy. I'm still in my bathing suit actually from driving home. I
have mine on too. Right out of the pool.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of swimming lessons going on, even group and private. It's constant. So that's good though. That's good for the kids. It's good for the department, keeps us vital.
I wonder if any.
Sue actually has.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry about that. I was going to say Sue actually has several kids who have like neurotypical, neurodiverse things going on in their background too. So she's actually been in the pool with some kids who are absolutely adorable. And, really helping families who may not think that service is offered to them otherwise through a private lesson, which has been really great.
Oh, good job.
Yeah,
I wonder if any other town has a pool as busy as ours or does as much with the pool as we do.
It's
very interesting. I talked to some associates in other towns. It's really very interesting. I would never think to do this, but if they have staff that cancel out or get sick, they just close. I'm like, what? How could you do that? But they do. They just close. They just cancel. And I'm like, wow. I think
we have the most dedicated pool staff around. For sure.
Yeah. I think our staff are there till 10:15 tonight, actually, with rentals. So we're there late.
We are here. Yes, we are here.
Wow. So
Did someone, Paul?
December
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just thinking that's kind of like December in a nutshell, and January's been just as busy, if not busier.
Yes.
Yeah. Paul, were you trying to say something or someone? I feel like some.
Well, I wasn't, but I will now, but give me a chance to talk, right? I gotta tell you, that's impressive. And I know everybody's been doing it for a number of years and keeping us updated, but just throughout the years, the support with Sue and Holly with you now. It's been unbelievable how important and critical that pool is to, for us
Yeah.
from a financial standpoint, and just for the town, for the good of the town. So just, kudos to you both, just keeping that
Yeah.
thing going. Unbelievable.
Well, as Sue knows, I used the pool a ton as a kid growing up here.
Yeah.
You remember that, Sue? Not just lessons, but like family swim or swim team. I was always in that pool.
Yeah.
I do remember you as a very young child. I do. It's incredible.
I know.
Yeah.
Who would have thought we'd be working together all these years later?
Oh, I know. I know. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay. Conflict of interest summary.
Before we go there, there were
Go
just
ahead.
a couple more things. I didn't know, Sue, if you wanted to touch base a little bit what we've done with lifeguarding salaries and the associated fees for monthly passes and what have you. Did you want to talk about that a little bit and just give the commission a brief update on what's going on there?
Yeah. So, with the way of the world and a competition being not only Lifetime and other private entities and public entities, and Cole's starting salary at $18.50, our starting lifeguards at $14 an hour, it has become difficult. As a result, we have raised our starting lifeguard salary to $17 an hour. And may I say, Rich, it is getting a nice response. I had a couple of great candidates talk about the fact that this was very exciting to them and that money was an issue for them, so that they would be applying for those open jobs, which is what we need. We were very much at the lower end of the spectrum as far as a starting salary for a lifeguard in the area. And I do have to give kudos to all the individuals that grew up at the pool that felt an attachment, that stayed and worked with us, though, despite the fact that their starting salary was lower than what they could have got at Lifetime. They stuck with us, and I really do appreciate that. As a result, though, we have increased some prices, not only in our membership, but our programming to support the increase in the hourly rate for our lifeguards.
Great.
Well deserved.
Everything is going up, like everything, everywhere.
Yes.
So people should expect.
And it's not markedly a huge increase. It's just enough to cover that increase in the hourly rate. And it's a good thing. It really is a good thing. And it's a little overdue. We really, really tried to keep our programming as affordable as possible. And when you look around to other communities that are self-supporting, our offerings were very, very, very affordable. So for a small increase in quality programming, we're not going to see a bump in, or I should say a decrease in our participation. It's going to maintain, if not continue to grow.
Well, and does the increase in the program start? Is it already started?
Yes, we already see an increase in our programming. Yes. Yeah.
So the rates went up for January.
Correct.
The rates went up in January, and it has not detoured anyone. We are fully supported. That being said, we do have members who do share about the fact that, depending upon your insurance company, you can be reimbursed a certain percentage. So we have one very wise senior who has been here. I taught him lessons back in the 70s, who actually pays for an annual membership and gets all but something along the lines of $30 back from his insurance company because he swims regularly and it's wellness, and his health insurance will reimburse him. So that being said, we are still very much affordable.
Right. And when Sue and I were talking about this, what was it, back in November, Sue?
Mhm.
I mean, there seems to be a shortage of lifeguards in the industry right now, and we've been hearing that from a lot
Correct.
of our peers and industry calls and what have you, and everybody's having difficulty staffing their pools. And you know, as we were talking, I did not want money to be the reason why we couldn't staff the pool and therefore ultimately couldn't open the pool at certain times. I mean, we never really were at that point, but if we got any lower in staff levels, the discussions would have had to have taken place. And that was just not an option for us, in my opinion. And we had to, I felt like it, you know, we needed to make sure that we were competitive in salary so that we could keep the pool open.
Mhm.
And just, we hadn't changed the rate for the monthly membership or the annual membership in at least over 5 years. It
That's
has
correct.
not changed since I've been here, and I'm now I've started my 5th year. It's never changed. So it was time. And you know, every year for the past 4 or 5 years now, minimum wage has gone up by $1.75, 75 cents. And
Mhm.
you know, we just thought, all right, let's get way ahead of this and make sure that we have the staff to keep that pool open. The worst thing that we could do is have that pool unused because we couldn't adequately staff it with lifeguards. You
Yep.
know, that would just be a really sad day. So hopefully, you know, and I'm glad to hear the feedback that Sue just shared, that, you know, we're getting a positive response. That was what
Absolutely. Yes.
Great.
So the conflict of interest summary is the
Yeah.
next.
So Angela sent that all to you. Hopefully you all received it. The good news is last year we did the online piece, so you don't need to do that again until next year. But you do need to do the read through the summary and sign that page. And if you want to get it back to Angela, you can scan it and email it. You can take a picture of it and send it to her, or you can mail it. Snail mail, and we'll get it to Dottie. So if you could just do that at your earliest convenience, we'd all appreciate that. It's something we all have to do annually.
Yep.
Do you know when she sent it? I'm looking.
It would have been within the past week.
Angela sent it?
Yes.
I don't see it. I'm wondering if it didn't
No.
go out.
The one in the
Okay.
package that you sent, it's in the package.
Well, there's,
120.
yeah, but is that
There
what
should
we're
be an
supposed to
electronic
sign?
version as well. It was a
Yeah.
part
Page
of
11.
it was a part of tonight's
What date?
packet.
Yeah, I know it's in the packet, but
Yeah.
I thought
But
she
there's
usually
also an
sends something that
electronic-
we can affix an electronic signature to. And that
I
wouldn't
don't
be a
know.
work.
I don't know if there's an electronic signature capability. It'd be a print. You just have to print the final page. I think it's page 7. And
Well,
then,
page 11, yeah.
Page 11.
and, well, yeah, I think, well, in the it's page 11 in the packet tonight, but it's
Package.
page 7 of the
Correct.
ethics summary. And
Yes.
that's the only thing you need to complete. All you
Okay.
need to do is print and sign your name,
Okay.
and then identify that you're part of the Recreation Commission, and date it and send it in.
Okay.
Okay. And then Angela will also be sending out the annual query very soon as well.
Okay. And that we can't do in electronic. Well, maybe we, yeah, no, I wouldn't want to do
Well,
that.
it's the
We have to
same
drop
thing.
that off.
Yeah, you just got to drop it off, or you can email it back, one or the other.
And to Angela, that one, or to Town Hall?
Well, again, if you want to send it to Angela, she'll get it there, or you can send it to Town Hall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
So that was just a quick PSA for you guys we all just did it. I did mine today. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So ethics training was completed last year. So apparel, we were supposed to pick up apparel, weren't we?
Yep. So there's still a few people that haven't. So just a reminder, they're in the office.
Print
Some-
everything and go pick up your apparel, Ann. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And then updates. So for facilities, I'll give the tennis court, and Sue, if you want to give the pool, and I can jump in if necessary on that one too. So I've talked a couple times now in recent months about getting the tennis courts at the high school resurfaced. I have the budget, and we're going to try to do that this spring. Okay.
Right.
It is weather dependent. It needs to be warm enough for a long enough period of time. My recollection is that it needs to be 60 degrees minimum, low point through the night for a week before they'll do it. And I've talked to the high school, Matt Gillis, about it as well, and we'll just need to pick a date, but we'll want to get that done as soon as possible. So we have it for this season.
Does that involve, Rich? Is it just that they're going to dig it up? They just resurface, filling cracks? What's involved?
Yeah, so it is not, they're not going to do any digging up of anything and putting down new pavement or anything like that. It'll literally be filling the cracks. They fill all the cracks with whatever compound they have. Then over any crack that's, I believe, more than a ½ inch wide, after they fill it in, they put down this like fiberglass mesh over it. And then they put a special compound over that so that it's flat, you know, and they spread it out, God, at least a foot, if not 2 feet wide past the crack, so that it's as flat as possible. And then they'll put the surfacing compound, it's like a paint, and then they'll line it, reline it. So the last time it was done was in October of 2017.
Wow,
So
Doesn't last that long.
that's unbelievable.
the court, from what I'm told, is that when those courts were put down, they weren't put down in technically the proper way. You should be able to get 25 years out of a court, from what I understand. And this court is not 25 years old. So I've also added on to the long-term capital plan to have the courts completely redone, at which point they'll be done properly, and then you could figure 25 years out of it. And you know, obviously that's huge money, and that'll have to get approved by the town. But I've put it out there just as part of the, you know, if we can get 5 years out of this resurface 5 years from now, we'll start talking about getting the thing redone completely. Which you're never going to, once those cracks start in that type of a surface, you cannot stop them. It's like nature, you know, it's just, they're going to continue to grow. All you can do is fill them, repair them. And, you know, we can spend 50 or 60 grand every 5 years to keep filling cracks, and, you know, and after 25 years, you got a brand new court, you know, so you might as well have a brand new court and be done with it.
So Rich, what would stop the next new court from not repeating the way this present one went?
Well, from what I understand, there are ways, there are techniques that they use by putting reinforcement, rebar and whatnot, and they have different types of surfaces so that they won't crack. I'm not the expert in tennis courts yet, because we haven't. I've talked about it a little bit with our tennis court contractor, and he's given me a high level. But when we get to that point, I'll be able to answer that question a little bit better. But from what I understand, when these courts were built, they weren't built the way that they would today, and we wouldn't see those cracks had it been done that way. Okay. You can flatten the earth and then lay a sheet of tarmac on top of it, and that will be great for a few years, but it will not last over time. That tarmac will crack, and that's what's happening. And that's what they did with these tennis courts. So there's no reinforcement built into the tarmac.
So Rich, what's this going to cost the commission, the repairs?
The repairs this year?
Yes.
Between 50 and 60.
And what's it going to cost us when we get ready to redo the whole thing?
Probably $350.
$350,000.
Yes. in today's money.
Maybe a little more,
50,
yeah.
50, yeah, 50 or 60 grand a quart, I think is what he told me as a rough estimate.
Yeah, 50
Wow.
60,000, that sounds, how much did we spend for the two courts when we rebuilt them at Morrison? That would be a number to look at.
That predates me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
So it
I
would
felt
have to
like
be
that was,
grossed
I
up
felt
for
like that was
inflation.
175 for two courts. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No,
50 to 60 wouldn't sound right in that case, but
Well, that's why I'm curious. I mean, that sounds like a bargain, the 250.
Yeah,
what I
so
can
no, not
remember.
two, no, 350. 350 to 400. So it's going to
Yeah,
be,
okay,
there's 6 courts. So
yes,
if it's 60, that's 36, right? 6 times 60
Yes.
is 60.
360. That sounds
Yeah.
more like it's what it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
how long are we gonna go with the patching before we ask for the 350?
Well, we'll see what that, we'll see. We were not very pleased with the company that we used to do the last patching, and we
Yeah.
will not use them again. We have another guy that we like better, and of course it will go out for bid, and we'll have to, see with, how it goes with how the bids come back. So I don't know what company we're going to wind up with, because
Okay.
we have a low bid kind of thing that we need to contend with. But the last company did not do a very good job,
No.
and we'll see
Difficult to work with.
we'll see how long it lasts, and how these courts continue to crack up over time.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. When the time comes, let's say we're in the same place 5 years from now, we're going to have to make a decision based on what available funds there are, and what the appetite is of the town to fund it.
Yeah.
Drag this out, but just maybe a quick education on this low bid. If you have a company that you think is competent, yet they're not, and it has to be put out to public bid, and they're higher than the low bid, what are you required? What option does the town have? Are you required to go with the low bid, or can you go with the better company even though it's a higher bid?
Yeah, so I don't know I'd have to refer that question to our procurement manager, but I do know that if we have reason to believe that the quality will not be there, that we can take that into account, I believe. So if we, for instance, if we have direct history with a company that did not do a good job and did not follow up with warranty work properly or whatever, we would have the ability to discount them, I believe. But I'd have to check with procurement on that. So I don't think it's exactly tied to low bid. It's as long as they are competent and able to do the job.
which you could probably get references for too to help you determine that.
That's correct. Whenever we go out for bid for anything, we call for references and make sure that they have done the work that they claim they've done, and they've done it in a professional and timely manner. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So pool deck tile replacement is the last facility update, right?
Mhm.
Yes, I can take that for you. The current deck is the original deck from 1972. It has failed in sections where the bonding material underneath the tile no longer adheres to the subflooring. The tile itself and the grout itself are in okay shape, but it is time. We have secured the money through our capital planning for the replacement. We are working with Weston and Sampson engineers to ensure that the spec for the bid is written properly, cleanly, and as clearly as possible to get a quality response. They think we're working with Michelle Miller Peck from procurement, and it looks like we will be trying to put something together and go out to bid. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rich, in the next 2 weeks. Oh, no,
That's
no,
my
I
hope.
take that back. 2 weeks will be the walkthrough for
Yep.
the measurements, and then we'll write up the bid spec and go out to bid.
Mhm.
Our long-range goal is to have this deck replaced, and we have mapped it out for the month of April. And we don't know what kind of impact the pandemic will have on that. The biggest unknown is the availability of tile. And so we'll work through that, though. Some of our resources that we've reached out to say that it should not be a problem. We're keeping that kind of in the back of our mind that that may be a problem, and then we may have to work further down the line and find a 4-week time frame where we can pull up the existing deck and lay the new deck down. The goal being that this tile will be in place, the new tile will be in place for 50 years plus.
Nice.
Okay, are there any items that couldn't be anticipated prior to the meeting? Anyone wants to bring up?
I do.
Okay.
So I've been doing a little bit of research on our web, the Westwood Recreation page.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to find the bylaws for the Recreation Commission, and I cannot find it. I don't see it anywhere up on the web page. And the only thing I have, and I think we should take a look at it. I think we should, as a group, we should do that. We haven't done it in a long time. As a matter of fact, I have a draft from Peter H. So I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. Heckenberg. I don't know. Heckenblocker. Thank you. So I have a draft from him. It says final in my email or final in my folder, but it's something that I think that we should take a look at. And I could email this to, how do I distribute this to the team?
To Rich, send it to Rich.
Send it to Rich, and then Rich, you can take a look at this and get it out to the team for comments. I'd like to add this to our next agenda for us to make a decision about what's going on. This actually shows, is it okay to share my screen now? Can I do that?
Go ahead.
Host disabled participant screen sharing.
I don't know if we really want to get into this at the last minute. We didn't have any
Nope.
notice of this. I'd like to be able to.
Okay, well, I just wanted to show you, Mitch.
At a time.
Yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it either, believe me. It's 8 o'clock, right? I just wanted to show you. But again, at the same time, the web page also has no access, and it used to have it years ago.
So maybe we review them, decide on any changes if necessary, and post.
Or somehow get a link in there, I guess. I mean, it would help for us. I mean, it would help. I mean, Katie, it would be something. Did you ever get a copy of the bylaws when you joined? No, nobody has. And it says in the bylaws, new members are supposed to be getting a copy of the bylaws. So in any event, let me get this out to Rich. Rich, you can send this out. People can take a peek at it. We can
let's
add
get
it
it
to the
ahead of
agenda
time.
for
So
the next
Right.
meeting.
Sure thing.
Just so you know it's coming.
Okay.
Any other items? All right, February 28th for the next meeting. How does that work for folks?
It's the last day of the month.
February 28th.
It is because the previous Monday is the holiday.
Yeah.
It's all right for me. Does it work for others?
Yeah.
Fine for me.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. I may still be in Florida. I may be in Florida, so I might not be in the state. So that might be a problem.
You want to be here for the discussion, right? The
Well,
bylaws.
I do, but if it's it can wait a month. This is dated 2013, so I'm sure we can wait
Okay.
another month. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. Because then rather than just having 3 weeks between, this will give us, what will give us 5 weeks? Our choice is 3 weeks or 5 weeks between meetings, I guess. And Valentine's Day, we probably want to avoid Valentine's Day. Not that anyone's doing much of Valentine's Day, but on a Monday.
Very important holiday.
Yeah. When you're in high school, it is.
Yeah, let's keep the 28th. The 28th is good. Let's just
Okay.
keep it.
All right. So can I get a motion from someone to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Sheila, motion to adjourn, and then second.
Second.
Oh, I saw Mitch's hand first. We'll go with Mitch, but we all have to vote anyway. So I am going to approve of the motion. Elizabeth, you approve? Paul, you approve?
I do, yes.
Mitch, you approve?
Yes.
Katie, you approve?
Yes.
And Sheila, you approve?
Yes.
All right, so the
Alright.
meeting is adjourned at 7:57 p.m. and we will see you all on, or as many of you as we can, on the 28th.